Hey everyone, thank you for joining me for another episode of With Love Soleil. Today's topic is coming in from Cody, so shout out to Cody. Thank you for bringing this topic forward because it's actually something I love talking about and thinking about and not something I've done an episode on yet. So he has asked specifically for me to talk about detachment, and I had to do a little research on detachment because, to be honest, my initial response towards the word detachment specifically is to be kind of like emotionally disconnected or say like aloof. But the more I looked into like the actual laws of detachment, they very much parallel to what I consider non-attachment, which to me is an absolute pillar of my life. I think that in order to really genuinely be on your own spiritual path, you have to truly master the art of non-attachment. I'm going to use detachment and non-attachment sort of interchangeably here because now I understand that they're very much similar. But you cannot be attached to anything if you are fully committed to your spiritual growth and to your own self-mastery and to your self-revelation, because very little can and will come with you on that path. That's just how that goes. If you are blessed to have family who can like hold the space for your change and evolution, amazing. If you have friends who are on your growth pattern and can match your rise, amazing. But my encouragement to you and what I have had to master myself is deep, deep, deep faith in the journey, in the plan, in the process, in all of the ways that your commitment to your mission and to your own personal evolution will shift and change the world around you and within you in every possible way. So when you think of non-attachment, it's not only like your attachment to things, right? It's also, of course, your attachment to people and or relational dynamics. In other words, ways that you relate to people or ways that you are connected to certain people. All of that will have to change. A lot of it will change. There are some core components to who you are that you maintain, but the truth is so much of awakening is unlearning who you think you are. It's unlearning how you think life is going to go. It's unlearning all of the ways that the matrix has programmed you into thinking a certain way or even aspiring towards a certain thing or attaching to life being a certain way, all of the shoulds that they love to lay on us. A lot of that has to go. A lot of that has to go, even down to how you identify yourself, who you think you are, how you think you relate to the world, what you bring to the world, how other people see you. Like so much of that dissolves under the weight of your mission, under the weight of the crown that you take on when you say, I'm really down for my assignment. People especially are a really big one because, I know for me, and I've mentioned this in prior videos, if there was ever a time I got on my knees and just begged God, it was like, let me just keep my mom, right? Like the one person, she gets it, she holds me down, she sees it, she supports me. She's like my absolute numero uno. If there was one person I was attached to, it was her. And what did that teach me? But even further, non-attachment, it taught me how to let go. It taught me how to allow the transformation of death to redefine what love even is. I love her all the same, if not more now, because I understand what she gave up for me to be who I am and what she sacrificed as a mother and what her gifts and her divine power instilled within me. Every day, increasingly, I'm thankful for her. And each day I have to check any attachment I have to, obviously she's gone in the physical plane. That's just what it is. It's part of our agreement. And while my preference, strong preference, would not have been this, it is what it is, And so I think the core of non-attachment is recognizing it is what it is. In the Buddhist philosophy, non-attachment is a huge component to the Buddhist philosophy, to not be attached to anything. I believe the saying that they say is like the Buddha, the one who sees, has no preference for or against. And, we're human, we have egos, we're going to have preference and desires, and we're working on manifesting things, and that's according to what we think that we want. But even in manifesting, you must understand that even if you don't get what you think you want, you'll get something better than that. And that's kind of the other component to the Buddhist philosophy, at least the one that I studied heavy, was this or something better. This or something better, because in the Buddhist philosophy that I studied, we would chant for things. We would chant for our desires. I don't know if any of you are familiar with Nam Myoho Renge Kyo, but that's the chant that we would chant when I was affiliated with Buddhism years ago, studying Buddhism. And it would be that you chant for that, and you would chant for world peace first and foremost. That was the crux of it, obviously. And then peace in your own life and peace in the life of the people that you love. And then whatever your desires were, whether it was to overcome illness or to help someone else or to manifest your home or your career or whatever it was. But the component to even your own desires is non-attachment, because sometimes our own malfunction in thinking thinks that we want this thing when what our life wants or what God wants for us is something different. And that's why even in manifesting, they say, don't focus on the thing that you're calling in, focus on the energetic of having it. Because what is that beautiful house that you think you're chanting for? Well, it gives me security, it gives me home, it gives me some place to go to, it gives me safety. All of those energetics you can create within yourself, and you use that then to call in whatever the biggest vision is. It may be the home, it may not be the home, it may be my lifestyle, which is I always have a wonderful home that I'm in at the moment, but at this moment I don't have my own place. Now, not everybody can live like me, and that's sort of the ultimate non-attachment, because I have very little, my stuff is in storage, obviously, of the stuff that I do have, which is really just my mom's stuff. Honestly, the stuff that I got from her, I didn't want to just let go of, because everything else I could just let go of. I have no attachment to things. I have no attachment to stuff. I know what I need in terms of money and otherwise, and I know how to meet those needs. And so everything else is just like it's like me and God just in the perfect co-creation of how can I continue to use my gifts? How can I continue to use my voice? How can I stand in your truth? How can I exist in the fullest expression of me that you have created in your dream for my life, in order to facilitate the awakening for all people and to do good everywhere? And how that embodies and portrays and comes to be looks different constantly, which is why for me, even I have to soften even my expectation around how I think my career is going to look, or who I partner with, or how, all of it, everything outside of me, I've had to just trust. Non-attachment is the deepest faith there is, because it says that no matter what goes, that's God's design. No matter what falls away, no matter what sheds, no matter what cannot come with you to the next level, and your commitment to finding and realizing yourself, whatever goes, and a lot will go, a major component of the awakened path is the shedding, is the releasing. If you know, and in fact, I'm so over this saying at this point because I've been in this world for so long, but anybody who leads like new moon ceremonies or even often full moon ceremonies will say, whatever can, this is a great time to shed and release. And I mean, all new moon and full moon ultimately can be a great time to shed and release, but that's why that's such like a coined phrase on the path. And when you're connected to moreness, because a lot gets shed and a lot gets released, and our attachment to things is really ultimately usually what causes the most suffering. And that's deep, because we like our comfort, we like our routine, we like things set in a certain way. Many people do. They, their whole day is pretty methodical. It's this, and this, Monday through Friday, maybe Saturday and Sunday, they mix it up a little bit, but for the most part, it's sameness. But if you are attached to sameness, then you are stifling your own growth. And it's really important to remember that. In fact, they say it's actually healthy cognitively to switch up your routine sometimes, or do things a little different, or do weird things, they say, because it facilitates new neural pathways in the brain, and it sort of keeps your energetics in that energy of change and that newness that brings you to life. Now, change is not always fun. Many people very heavily resist change, but how could you resist change when life is all about change? What pain and suffering do you cause yourself by resisting change? Life is change. Every single day, we're a little bit different. Something shifts, this comes into our reality, this person leaves, this, that, and the third. Everything's different. I mean, look at the seasons, look at the natural world, constantly changing. That's the nature of reality. So if you are clinging to routine, or you are clinging to sameness, you're causing yourself a lot more suffering than you need to, which is why non-attachment or detachment is the absolute, I'm going to call it in this moment, the master key to contentment, to faith, to trusting God, to trusting yourself, to trusting your path, that it might not go how you think it's going to go. It probably won't go how you think it's going to go, to be honest. I know for me, if I sat down with little girl me and like talked to her about how she thought absolutely not, she would get it all wrong. There are components, the vision, the energy that she was aware of, but my path has been its own deal, as I'm sure has yours. And that's how it's supposed to go. That's the beauty of it. It's like, it's so unpredictable that while there are certain seasons that feel like you're in a little bit more rooted in certainty, uncertainty is written all over the walls of everything, because anything can go in a minute. And if you're clinging to it and life is like trying to gently take it away and you're holding on, like what a waste of energy and a waste of power, because life will never remove something that's meant to stay. Energetically, as you vibrate higher, things are going to shift out, things that cannot match your rise, things that cannot match your growth edge, things that cannot match the pace of your progress. It's just going to naturally vibrate out into some moments or some seasons where you like, I don't even have there's nothing left. That is freedom. That is freedom, to not need for anything, to know that even while you might, maybe that was me, my victim mode of like, there's nothing left, because the mission was always there. The mission was always there. And I always have the people I needed, even if they weren't the people I thought that were going to be there. And even the ones who have transitioned, have taught me how to let go. And they taught me how to redefine love and relationship. And, with my mom, now we have a spiritual relationship as we did before, but now obviously even more so. We're always learning, and loss is one of the best ways to learn. When things leave out of your reality, when things shift and change, when you know yourself in a new way and you have to show up as a new person in a relationship that's known you for a very long time. What a powerful lesson. What a powerful way for God to say, prove it. If you're really about what you're about, prove it. Don't just sit on your knees and talk to me about it. Go live it out. Live it out in your relationships. Stand more completely on the truth that you're talking about. Let your life say all of the things that you would want to say if you stood in front of a crowd and they were asking you, how do we save the world? Your lifestyle should answer that question. And if it doesn't, check your own blind spots and figure out what you're clinging to, what you're holding on to, what's not serving you, the ways that you identify that's not really who you are, your own limitations. Like, the awakening path is happening for us, but we get in the way by clinging to constancy, by clinging to sameness, by trying to keep everything comfortable. That's literally you putting a ceiling on the limitlessness of your awakening. You are here to awaken. We're all here to awaken. We all have the possibility of awakening, and it is never not tapping at our window. And so if you close the blinds and stay in your dark room just to be safe and not have to see what's out there, you'll never know. If you cling to things and want everything to be the same and want who you are to be the same, and you fit in your nice little tidy box that society has labeled for you, you'll never know. If you allow, if you trust, if you let things shed and new seasons come and yourself change and you identify in different ways over time and you connect to different people and different things over time, life is going to facilitate your evolution. It's going to use you as a major player in the awakening of humanity. And it's going to ensure that you are rewarded for your willingness to sit in discomfort, to sit in uncertainty, and to be one of the ones. That's why non-attachment detachment is important. There's also the laws of detachment. If you want to study them a little further, I had to kind of look into that in my research of this, but I hope that helps. And I really encourage you to find that really true, honest place where your faith overrides your attachment to anything. And you can just lean into that and trust, really, really, really trust your life. And trust that you're the mission. As long as you are really actively on the mission, it will absolutely never fail you. All right? Okay. See you guys next time.